cleanup process. So let me show you how we go about. So I'm going to start off by cleaning up the character. So to clean up the character, give me a moment, please. So as it relates with the cleaning up, we need to, let us start with the head. Oh, that's another thing to note as well. All right. Right now, when you look at the head, um, you see when we were cutting up the character, what it actually did was to take a copy from an existing layer and paste it on a new layer. So I'm going to show you what we actually have. We have actually a duplicate of the head. So for example, if I was to move out the head like this, notice that you're seeing two heads. This is the head that was cut on its own separate layer. This here, let me show you this. This is just the original, the isolated one. So what I'm going to do now, this is from the drawing layer. Drawing layer. So I'm going to undo this. I'm going to turn off. I'm going to turn off the view layer. So that when I move this out, you notice that you're just seeing this. So notice that we have two eyes. So this eye here is on a layer by itself. But you see this eye here is on the same layer as the head. So what we want to do now, you see on the head layer, this is the head layer over here. I'm going to start deleting the ears, the mouth, nose, eyes, eyebrow. The only thing that's going to be left is the hair with the head. So let me show you what it should look like. So this is going to be done using the drawing view. So I'm going to use my select tool. I can use the eraser tool, but the select tool is much. So I just select this part of the ears and delete that. Select this part of the ears and delete that. Notice that while I'm deleting the ears from the head layer in the drawing view, notice that you're still seeing it here in the camera view. That was because we had two ears, one that was on the drawing layer, that one that was on the head layer, and the other that is cut by itself in isolation. I'm going to delete the mouth. So we already cut the mouth layer. So we delete the mouth. Delete those little parts. And you're going to get little gaps like this, these areas that are not painted. I'm going to delete the eyes and the eye outline here. Go in here, delete the eye. So this process is known as the cleanup process. We're cleaning up drawings that we don't need. We don't need this extra nose because we have the nose on a layer already. And the eyebrow, we can delete the eyebrow as well. We have that on a separate layer. Now, notice what we have here. We kind of have a little opening like this with where the eyes and mouth were. That's because when we were painting the character, it paint around the mouth and it paint around the eye. It didn't fill behind it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to delete the fill completely. First, let me just select the color, which is the skin. Go back to the drawing view, and I'm going to delete the fill. Well, delete, these were where the freckles were. Delete that. And then now I'm going to go to my paint bucket and paint it back. Oh, undo that. I didn't see that. Apparently, we have the eye white. We have the eye white here that I didn't see. Let me highlight those and delete them and repaint. Right. So now this is what the head should look like. Notice how, like for example, if I was to take my select tool and select this area and move it out, so when I move the fill out, you see how it paints as one. Undo that. Right. So this is what the head should look like. Now you see if I was to take my select tool, let's say if I was to rotate my head, you see what's happening? The head is rotating by itself. The only thing is that the pivot point, we're going to reach a stage where we have to set our pivot points where they should go. So the head should be tilting like that. But what you should also notice is that look at the other facial features. The ears, the mouth, the nose, the eyes, all these areas we have to clean them up because we should be actually seeing, we shouldn't be seeing the fill. So I'm going to get rid of the fill for some of these facial features. So when I select the eye, I'll go over into the drawing view here and I delete the fill. You see this little area here? If I was to select it and move it over, that is the fill. You just delete it. There's some little areas here that need to be listed. A little bit of the fill here. Get rid of that. So you make sure you go in and make sure that it is clean. So that's one eye. You go over to here. There's the pupil here. Delete that little area. Click the eye. Just select the fill that is around the eye and delete it. And any little areas that need cleaning up, you just use your select tool and you can use your cutter tool, but for the cleanup process, I would recommend using the select tool to clean up your artwork. Let's go to the nose. You just select the fill in here. You just want the nose to be by itself. The nose should be, so this is what the nose should look like. Let's go to the mouth. Notice that with the mouth, it has some skin around it. We want to get rid of the fill of the skin. So just select that and delete it. Zoom in a bit closer. Highlight that area. Delete that. Highlight that. Delete. You just clean it up. That's the mouth. Let's look at the ears. I like to use my transform tool to select them. So you select them. So you notice that this ears, you have a little piece right here with a little piece of the head, the hair on the head. So you just use your select tool and delete that. Delete that. Oops. Okay, I see. All right. Let's delete. Use my eraser tool. Erase that. That's the ear. Select that part. That's the ear. Head. The ears should actually be behind the head. Looking in my layer panel here, We have ear 1 and ear 2. These should actually be behind the head. Yeah, now it looks better. Alright, so now you see when I move the eye, it should move like that. But you notice what's happening? When I move the eye, you realize that it's two pupils we have, because what should happen with the eye in this case? Remember, I had cut the pupil separately, so I need to clean up this pupil to get rid of this excess white area here. And for this eye, I need to delete the pupil here so that it's just one pupil you have moving within the eye. So let's look at that now. So let's look at the pupil. Now, you see, because we use the white color for the eye white, you're not, and the drawing view uses a white background, we're not able to see the fill. Now, that's for your drawing view here. When you right click up here, you see something called drawing view. And you click on it, you get some additional tools like light table, and you get this tool here that's called backlight. Now, so when you click on your backlight, you can see the additional fill area. We can tell that there's a white area that has an extension of the fill. If I turn off the backlight, you can see that is what it looks like normally, but with the backlight, it looks like that. You want to use the select tool, and just select, so I know that there's a fill right here. See, when I select it with the select tool, it highlights the fill right here. So we just need to delete that. I'm going to go back to the eye, and I'm going to delete the pupil on this layer, because as it stands now, we have two pupils. So if you see, if I was to go ahead now and start to move around this pupil, notice him have two pupils. So we have to delete the pupil on the eye layer. So we just use the select tool and delete the pupil. And what, so now let's see how it looks if we were to start to move around the pupil. Notice that now we only have one pupil. However, you see what's happening? Because when we were painting the drawing with the eye, it actually paint this empty area in here. So what we have to do, we have to delete the entire fill in the eye white. We'll delete this part as well, a little bit there. What's going to happen is that I'm going to repaint it with white. I'm going to paint it with the teeth white color. We're going to paint it. Okay, so now when I'm moving around the pupil, it moving. You see how him look like? If him a look to the left, he's now looking in that direction. I can actually move this over a little bit. All right. Let us look at the other eye. Same cleanup process. We're going to, this is the eye layer, and I'm going to delete this pupil because we already have the pupil on our existing layer. I'm going to delete the entire eye white fill and repaint it with the white. When we select this now, this is the other pupil. It's able to move around, but we need to clean up the pupil. So we use the select tool and delete the excess white area here, so that when we move around the pupil, it move, look anywhere. Now, you see when we reach further down with the rigging, there's something called masking. Now, you see when I move the pupil, what should happen is that the pupil should be masked within the eye layer. So we use what is called a cutter module, and we kind of mask them so that the pupil stays within the eye. But right now we're just at the cut-up stage. When we reach further down with the rigging, we'll reach that stage where we use a cutter tool to mask the pupil into the eye. So now, let us say, for example, if I was to rotate the head, kind of look like that. See how it kind of look a little bit better now? The head is moving, and there's another process that we have to look at as well, which is creating parent-child relationship. Where when the head moves, the eye, the pupil, the mouth should follow. But that is further down. I want to clean up the eyebrow area here a little bit. So now the eyebrow can be moved. When we go to the neck area here, remember that on the neck, we had a little bit of the head. In terms of you can use your light table, and you can see. Now this little part here needs to come off. That little part here needs to come off as well. Now, I'm not just going to leave the neck like this. Let me show you why. You see, if I was to know, let me just move the pivot right here and show you what it would look like when I rotate it. See, if I rotate the neck, the head like that, you see what's happening here? You have a little gap right here with the neck. So if he was to tilt his head like that, you'd have that gap right there. So we need to clean up the neck a little bit further. What I would do, I would use the contour editor to kind of extend this up a little bit more. Extend that up a little bit. And then now I'm going to use an ellipse tool. I'm going to use a circular ellipse tool, select the black color there. And I'm going to now create a rounded edge for this area. I'm going to draw an elliptical shape like that. I need to increase the thickness too. Hold on. Into the tool properties. Bring this up a bit, maybe 5. Right. Pull that down. Let me delete this circle and draw it again. That's a little better. Bring it down a bit. Then remember we had used the snap to contour tool. I'm going to use the snap to contour. And I'm going to snap this vertex point onto this vertex point here, so that it becomes as one drawing. I'm going to snap this vertex point onto that vertex point so it becomes one drawing. Then I'm going to use the cutter tool. Switch over to the cutter tool. I'm going to cut off this bottom here. So highlight that, press the delete button, select that area, press the delete button. So now the neck kind of has like a rounded edge. And I'm going to now paint this part here with brown, so that if we were to select the head with the transform tool, and let's say we're going to tilt the head, see, it don't look anywhere. So that is